YouTube, how the heck you doing? This is Corey here with Watcher Realms. We are back, right? It's been a little bit of a break, but we have season 8, so let's go ahead and get straight to it. So we went ahead and went 1-on-1 the first week, and so this opponent here is pretty good, but not the average opponent that we go ahead and go against. But they did have some interesting comps that are meta relevant or meta adjacent. So let's go ahead and get straight to it. This is going to be a cultist team, but they're using a couple of flex options. They are using Artemis. Typically, you can go ahead and use like any other healer, even a Lily or an Elowen would be more than fine, but they're choosing to go ahead and use Artemis here. So what we do, right? And this is going to be the exact same kind of strategy if it was actually Cyrus and a Wukong instead of a Gon and a Morgan. Also, the healer, right? We would go ahead and substitute that for an Ezreal or a Lily, Elowen, doesn't matter, right? You go ahead and do the exact same strategy. So what you do is you go ahead and drop your Pharaoh Guard and you drop a Fool. The whole purpose is the Pharaoh Guard and the Fool are going to go and sustain and kind of tank up the Ymiret and the Alaura damage. One of the things when it comes to Alaura and Ymiret teams in general is, and whenever you also see like a Boreas incorporated as well, they tend to be like cyclical in their ult. So one will have it on and one will have it off. And basically they're always alternating between ultimates. So what happens is you want to go ahead and start stacking up as many sustain units, so I'm talking about double Pharaoh Guards, Fool, Healer, as we can see here, to kind of start tanking up all the magic damage. Now also they are using Artemis, which is a little bit interesting because Artemis will go ahead and counter the anti-heal, so it's actually an interesting strategy. I like it. It's smart. I wouldn't personally go and think about it like that, but the issue is Artemis isn't the best healer, but also you're not going to go ahead and try to take out the tank in these comps usually. So you go ahead, you stack up the double necros, right? So we kind of started building up here. What you'll see is Ymiret will go ahead and ult. And Alaura, because she doesn't gain rage regen, right? She is always going to be a little bit behind. So Ymiret's going to go ahead and ult. And his job is to go ahead and take out all these units that are stacked up here. And then Alaura is going to ult shortly after here, and her goal is to blow up all these units right here. So that's the win condition, right? Morgan's job is just to go ahead and slow everybody down as well. But as long as you're able to tank up the damage here, and if this was like a Wukong here, honestly the concept is the exact same thing. Your goal is to go ahead and tank up the first initial onset of damage from Alaura and Ymiret. And then you should be good to go and just kind of run it down. Super simple, right? It is honestly just a BP check. That's the best way to go ahead and put it. And Gon goes ahead and gives 7 blocks, so it makes it a little bit tricky. But overall, you do the exact same thing for the normal esoteric comps. YouTube, currently Smile One is going ahead and offering additional top-up rewards if you purchase W Gold through their website. Now with Smile One, they're always going to go ahead and give you that 10% discount, which is fantastic. But right now, between April 18th to April 27th, you're getting additional rewards. So you're getting some rare summoning crystals, auto battles, stamina, diamonds, and more. And at the very, very apex of the rewards, you are getting about 12,000 W Gold as well, which is about $120 for free if you are choosing to go ahead and get W Gold through their website. So if you're considering summoning on the Valdron Ymiret banner, which I know I definitely am, if you're thinking about summoning on the Lyra Talon banner or even the Alaura Limited banner, think about using the description below. Thank you. Now let's go ahead and go to the next set of attacks here. This is going to be an Ingrid team. Now I can't remember exactly how they placed this, so we're just going to go ahead and see. But they are using Ingrid, they're using Ardea, Ajax. So honestly, a pretty stacked up roster overall in terms of the units that they're investing in. And then also they're using Regulus and a Lily. So interesting, but I think I know exactly what we do here. So let's go ahead and slow this down. So first things first, our main goal is to go ahead and bait out the Ajax ultimate. And then also we want Ingrid to swap over to single target mode. So here we go. Ingrid is going to go swap over now, and then Ajax is going to go ahead and ult. At that point, we're feeling really, really good as long as our Pharaoh Guard is able to tank up the Ingrid damage. And that's why we go ahead and drop the healer here, whose entire job is honestly just to give some sustain to the tank so he survives long enough for us to drop the Shadow Keepers. Once we do that, we have 3 block, right? Taken up. Because the Shadow Keepers are going to get to Regulus, right? And Ingrid's not going to swap until now. And our goal is to drop double dogs. And now that we have 3 block here, technically 4 block because the healer connects, all these units pass through. And there we go. Super simple. Super simple. Honestly, using Shadow Keepers as a way to go ahead and give you some really cheap block, 2 block, is super valuable. Especially if they're level 5, because then they have the ability to dodge, and sometimes their ability to dodge will go ahead and keep them alive longer, which makes your strategies even better overall. And so we go ahead and attack this other team here. So they are using, mind you, this is my BP with Maw and everything, but they're using a Praetus, Ymiret, Alaura team, which is super annoying. They are choosing to go ahead and use Hollow as well, but they're really just doing that for the rage regen with Ymiret and with Praetus, but it's not the end of the world, right? So the first thing that we go ahead and do is we say, you know what, I'm just going to chow it, right? If you're going to go ahead and use a Hollow instead of a Carnelian or instead of a Lily, the best option is just to kill the tank, right? So we go ahead, we drop the Fool, right? The next step is we are going to go ahead and bait out all these ultimates here. And then we're going to drop Maw and then another Fool. Now the reason why we're baiting out all these ultimates is because we know that one, if Alaura, Ymiret, and Praetus go ahead and ult our Maw is probably going to die really quickly. So our goal is to go ahead and tank it and then bait out all these ultimates. Then we can set up the actual damage dealer, which is going to be Maw, with the Fool right now. And then following that, we are going to go ahead and stack up, I believe, 9 costs and then drop a Axes and Healer. Now, the reason why we do that is because obviously they are using Hollow. And so Maw is going to go ahead and force proc Brokir's passive every single day of the week, right? Whenever Maw goes ahead and does his Impale. After that, we only have to worry about 2 things then. Brokir's shield from his ultimate, and then also just bad RNG. So we get to the 9 cost here. We've gone ahead and forced Brokir's passive. We're going to drop the Axes right about now as well. And the whole purpose is, at this point, as long as Maw survives, to go ahead and force Brokir's shield from his ultimate, which he obviously will. He's going to do it, right? Then our Axes, all they need to do alongside Maw is just take out Brokir. So it's honestly a very easy setup here. And in addition to that, Maw will go ahead and do another Impale eventually, especially with the amount of sustain that we have. So Brokir is going to die either way. Doesn't even matter. After this, Maw is going to go ahead and ult. There we go. And then he's going to do his AoE hit any second now and take out Alaura and Praetus. Or does he? I guess he doesn't. He doesn't because the tank dies. At that point, we're good. We have the clearance here to go drop the double dogs. Maw's going to go ahead and force 2 costs onto that portal. And then the rest of the dogs are going to move through. And it's going to be easy GG's. Super simple. That's why Lily and Ezreal and then Carnelian is so popular, right? Having the ability to cheat death a multitude of times would definitely change that team comp. 100%. And then finally, even Yunomi is like kind of rising in popularity just because cleanses. And then what is the next one? Okay. This is a Northerner comp. I mean, Northerner teams are just bad. They're just bad, at least right now, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, it's Ares, Praetus, Hars. Honestly, you're better off using Praetus as Lord. But basically, if you ever see a 2-tank comp, one thing you know is they're lacking 1 extra unit of damage or 1 extra unit of CC, right? So at this point, you can just swarm pretty much every 2-tank comp. They are using Ares, so Ares' whole job is to just ideally, deal with any any swarming threats. But as long as you have enough BP and you time things well, you're able to honestly just stack up everything here like we do. And I even got to the point where once I got here, I could have dropped the dogs and just won, but I really just wanted to make it a point, right? I don't need to do anything once I get this set up. These units are just going to walk through no matter what. I dropped the double dogs literally just for fun, because we would have already won based off of that. All those units moving through. So 2 tank comps, they really just don't work unless it's like a Brokir Reeve. And in that case, you need some damage. Like some really, really good AoE damage, better than Ares would provide to effectively deal with them. And if you're going to do that, you could even use Ares and Ingrid, and then it's going to work a lot better than using Kratos, who's a single target unit, right? So just heads up on that. And then this is a Valdron team. Honestly, I was really bored, and I just wanted to test a couple things because it is a Valdron team. I have a 5 Valdron, and so I was like, well, maybe this could be something good. Like, if it works, then it works, and then I can go and use it myself. But yeah, this is not the case. Also, based on the positioning, it's a little bit wonky because Carnelian's up here. So here's the most important thing. Whenever a unit is up here, they will get hit by archers. It is different if there's a tank here, though. If there's a tank here, then the archers will go ahead and target the tank and not the unit up here. So the second that I was able to go and snipe out Carnelian, I knew this was pretty much over. I knew it was GG, because what's going to happen is my archers are going to gradually whittle away at Brokir's health, pretty much put him at 1 hit. He's going to ult, and at this point, I'm going to win, right? Because Brokir has no sustain, and then all I need to do is just kind of gradually take him down. So archers are pretty much doing that for me. I believe they even go ahead and proc out his passive, and they do. At this point, this is just an easy win. I even kind of start trolling, and I just wanted to see something, right? So if you want to just click off now, that's more than fine, but we're going to go ahead and watch tanks solo out Valdron. So here we go. They hit once, Valdron procs his passive. He's low again, procs his passive a second time. I believe he has one more before he goes ahead and officially dies. There we go. So Valdron takes out 1 tank, and then this second tank goes ahead and gets revenge, and it's GG at this point. Because what's going to happen is all these necros are spawning up. They're going to run through the rest of the map. They proc, hotset, ult, and then double dogs. Actually, I don't even need the dogs. We just win, right? So honestly, super simple. If you ever see a unit up here and there's no tank here, just go ahead and use archers. It'll take it out every single day of the week. Easy wins. Anyways, see ya.